Do you see me? I see you. How are you guys? Welcome into session 3. I'm happy to be home. I'm happy to be back, and I'm happy to be with you. I am so happy. I really am. Cheers to you. Hi again. Don't get tired of me yet. You know, I warned you when I got back, you were going to be seeing me like every flippin' minute. So we have class today. Tomorrow, Alexis is going to be sitting right here next to me, and we have your exclusive Soul Shift Crystal Masters gem sale for the anniversary. Wednesday, we have session 4 of Soul Shift. Thursday is Perfume Around the World, and Sunday is Llamas. Yeah, Friday I'm going to lay very still, like a vegetable, to use that line from Pretty Woman. I'm going to lay like broccoli on Friday and be very quiet and still. Anyway, yeah, so pace yourself. I would get tired of me if I were you. I'm really happy to be back, though. It was nice to be away, but it's nice to be back. Let me walk you through everything we're doing today, because it's mucho, but I think you're going to be here for it. I think you're going to be excited about it. So I'm going to, after I tell you all the things I have to tell you, thanks, you guys. Can you see a sneak peek for tomorrow? I wish I could, but the stuff isn't here yet. Dave's bringing it home tonight, and then he and I are going to set everything up tonight right here on the bed, so I don't have it all yet. He's actually at the office right this minute, packing it up to bring it home at 6. Otherwise, I would totally give you a preview. I will tell you, I've saved a lot of things for tomorrow. Tomorrow, you guys, Momo was only able to make enough of the hand-painted Kuan Yins for one of the gem sales, and I was like, oh, hell no, that's for Soul Shift and Crystal Masters. So the hand-painted Kuan Yins are coming tomorrow. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that I just thought was, you know, special, but too special for everybody. Now, I have something exciting to tell you. You know how we have the grand prize for our 10th anniversary, and so when you've shopped in July, it's been entered to win that grand prize. And that's really cool. I mean, it's a reading with me for an hour, and then you get to design your own ring, and Shram is going to make your ring in solid gold, and he'll make whatever you want. So I'm going to work with you to design it, and then I'm going to pass the design to him, and he's going to make it. So that's the grand prize, and when you shop at Sage Goddess until the 31st, that's the grand prize. This drum, however, is the twin of mine, back there. When I bought mine, I bought 2. And this drum is just for Soul Shift, just until Thursday at midnight. So if you shop Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday on the website, you'll be entered to win this drum, which is worth, I think I paid $400 or $500 for this drum. Yeah, it's hand painted, every detail. And then she goes in and she has light codes that she channels and puts into the drums. Yeah, so, yeah. This is kind of the best I saved for last. And there's not a minimum purchase. So even if you just get a tumbled ancestral light, or maybe you're getting the, did you see the little carrier today for the, isn't this cute? You know how we've been doing the gateway perfumes? And we finally had the little carrier made for them. So even if you just get the carrier for your gateway perfumes, you can still use your 20% discount code, but then as soon as you shop, your name is gonna go on a list in the system, and then I will get that list on Thursday, and I'm going to choose a winner, and I will announce the winner on Friday. I've been holding on to this drum, so I'm not going to spread the word too far, but I am going to play the drum today so you can hear it. Isn't that cool? And then what's cool too is on the beater, she also has light codes. I'm into it, so you know, kind of a fun little extra bonus. So when you shop, you're entering to win the grand prize. You're also entering to win this, that you can take your 20% discount off. You might get a shitty kitty. It's like all the things until Thursday, starting today. So if you've already shopped today, you've already no matter what you may have gotten today, you're already there. And the reason I started it today is because the carrier launched today and a lot of you bought it for your gateway perfume. So I was like, this is a good way to start it because a lot of you may not even realize it, you've already entered to win. Isn't that fun? It's got a beautiful sound to it. It's very, very, very deep. So I had to tell you about that today. Lena said she's leaving at 5:30, the opening of the portal. Does that come at the end of today's class? The opening of the portal is going to be in the next like 40 minutes, half hour to 40 minutes. So I'm going to leave that to you, how you want to navigate that. It's okay to hang and leave and come back, you know what I mean? Or to leave and to finish this a different time. It's not like we're going to open it and then you should have stayed. I hope that makes sense. So Lena, totally feel free to do whatever feels good to you intuitively. You're not going to mess this up. Okay, so I want to tell you about the drum. Hold on, let me go back to my notes because I have so many things I want to tell you. Wednesday's craft day. And so I'm planning to do a little bit of crafting with you on your wands Wednesday. I'm also planning to do crafting on our pouches Wednesday. And that's why you got the little dram of oils. That's why you got the pouch of herbs. This is kind of your sex bag. You make a little sex bag together. Meg's like, I'm not even going to take a pee break. Yeah, we are opening a portal for the Stargate today. So let me finish all my announcements. Everything today will make sense in just a second. I'm really happy you're here though. And if you're watching later, it's okay. You don't have to be here live. As with everything in Soul Shift, like it's time outside of time. I really don't think people need to be in class live. And it sounds really funny because I was a professor before this and I used to have to take attendance. I think this is part of the reason my students really loved me. First of all, I taught graduate school, so all of my students were employed full-time and had worked a whole day before they came to my class in the evening. So when I took attendance, I always joked that I was taking multi-dimensional attendance because somebody could walk in 10 minutes late, but I knew that they were coming out of a meeting at work, and so I didn't really count it. You know what I mean? I'm always like, you're good, you know what I mean? And I think of you guys the same way. You guys are adults, you've got stuff going on. Take your time. If you're here live, great. If you watch later, great. The learning happens exactly when it, and if you're watching this in September, then this is great. Maybe you were supposed to watch this class in September. Some people don't watch everything right away, okay? There are only a few people who have not received their tools yet, and if you're one of those people, your tools are coming to you very shortly. Yeah. So if you're one of the few, it's very few people, but if you're one of the few, they are on their way. Yeah, not to worry. So anyway, this is crafting. This is what will be coming Wednesday. This is Team SG. As you know, I'm not as crafty as they are, so mine is not going to look like this. I'm good. I don't have red feathers. Like they have a lot of, I'm not going to be taking wire and braiding it like they did. This is an absolute rock star version. So I'm going to do my best. It's not going to quite look like this. And you can zhuzh yours on up and make it as sexy as you want, right? Heidi's husband wants to know when I'm assigning massage homework. I like her husband. Yeah, so Alexis can help with specific questions about tracking tools and things like that while I focus on the nuts and bolts of what we're doing today. But you did get a bag in your tools of crystals and of ribbon. And so that's kind of to get you started. Do you, Meg? You know what, you'll surprise yourself though. I always say I'm not an artist and stuff, but like when I sit down and do the thing, it looks halfway good. It's just that Team SG takes it to a whole other level. And the woman who worked on this is a professional wire wrapper on our team, so it's like, I'm not even gonna pretend that I can do this. I'm not a great wire wrapper. I'm good, I'm not great. I'm not teaching a tutorial anytime soon. No, my gardener, my landscaper's here. I know. So if you hear a little bit of noise in the background, that is not Dave, that is my landscaper who's working on a few things in the garden. Okay, So, other things I want to tell you, get your gateway holder if you are collecting the gateway perfumes. We also, by the way, brought back, hold on. There we go. I should have set this up earlier. We brought back the spring gateway perfume sets and the summer gateway perfume sets in case you missed those, and then you can catch up with fall and winter. But we have very few of the spring and very few of the summer. So, but if you're like, oh, I didn't even get those two, you can actually get the carrier and you can get the spring and summer sets today. And again, it's all 20% off. Your code is 20harvest at sagegoddess.com if you would like those. Other things I want to tell you. Thursday is Perfume Around the World. That's the first class of the 3-class series. It's 25% off if you're in Soul Shift and you would like to join us. Because if you start Thursday, you won't miss a thing. And we're starting in Egypt. So I'm giving you the history of how high priests and priestesses and pharaohs worked with oils in ancient Egypt. And so I'm going to be teaching you about the geology, a little bit about the archaeology and the mythology for the first hour. And then the second hour, we're going to be crafting perfume aligned to the energies of Egypt. So if you want to join me for Perfume Around the World, it is not too late. And you have a 25% one-time coupon code that I think Alexis can share with you if you want to join Perfume Around the World, if you haven't joined yet. I think that's all I have to tell you. Okay, so today what we're doing, we are blending our perfume. This is our Journey to Ecstasy. And so these are the oils we're going to be blending together today. Rose Geranium, which is one of my favorites, Ylang, which is one of my favorites, and Pink Lotus, which is one of my favorites. This is going to be a very floral, very seductive perfume blend that is also an aphrodisiac. So to answer Heidi's husband's questions, the massages, my darling, will begin tonight as soon as Heidi busts out her sex potion for you and hooks it up. And Heidi, I trust that you will be able to do that with great ease after today's activation. So yes, so we're going to perfume together. Then we are going to activate our wands together. So if you have your wand, make sure you have that for today's class. Our journey together today, you know, session 3 is always a shamanic journey. Our journey together today, today's July 26th. As long as you're, you know, not ahead of us already, those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, bear with me. We are going to open the Lionsgate portal together. I haven't had the pleasure of doing that with you live. And when I realized that due to the schedule and the changes that session 3 was happening on the first day of the Lionsgate portal, I was like, we have to do this, especially because our work this month is all about balancing the feminine and the masculine to activate these energies of desire and passion and to awaken a deeper level of intimacy within you that I hope will spill out into your life and create deeper intimacy outside of you. Isn't that fun? So that's what we're doing tonight. If you don't have your tools for any reason, but if you have the Lionsgate set, okay? So tonight what I'm doing is I'm going to light my Lionsgate candle. You can anoint with your perfume if you have it. This is, because I'm doing a grid for the Lionsgate, this is the centerpiece of my Lionsgate grid. The Lionsgate set came with a wand. So if you have your Lionsgate tools, you can go ahead and use those. And Amber, I'll answer your question in just a second. Because if you're not familiar with the Lionsgate, or you may not have seen the set, or maybe you're new to Sage Goddess, because I do a Lionsgate ceremony on August 8th every year. So I'll back up and explain this in just a second. But if you don't have your Soul Shift tools, but you do have your Lionsgate tools, go and grab that. If you don't have your Soul Shift tools or your Lionsgate tools, I would really encourage you to use a wand that's already in your possession. It's best if it can be a double terminated, either selenite or quartz-based wand, okay? Yeah, some of you are still waiting on your wands. So that's where Alexis is gonna dive in and help you, because she's gonna, you know, that way I can focus on the teaching. But Alexis is here and she'll be responding to your questions about your tools, yeah. And if you're missing any of your tools from your kits, just Alexis is here and she'll make a note of it. And also, if you're ever missing anything, you guys know, right, to write into Sabrina's team, support.sagegoddess.com, and let them know if anything's missing. That should be the first thing you do, because Team SG will mail out whatever you're missing to you immediately, but sometimes they don't know unless you tell them, right? So that's very, very important. There is a candle in the Lionsgate set. It's a little, I believe there is, or is this my llama's candle? This might be my llama's candle. Anyway, that's the candle I'm using. I think that's from my llama's kit. I kind of mix them all together and then I forget what's what. Okay, so let me back up. I think that's from my llama's kit, so if I confuse that for you, I'm sorry about that. I'm pretty sure I'm mixing all my tools together. Leave that to me, right? Yeah. Really, they haven't responded to you? So that's where Alexis can be helpful to you, and she's right there in the feed, so she'll take care of you, not to worry. Okay, so I'm going to stay focused here on the camera with you, and I'll let Alexis take care of the feed. So here's what I want to tell you about Lionsgate. Lionsgate is, and it's a little bit complicated, so bear with me as I walk you through the explanation, okay? The Lionsgate happens when the sun, which is in Leo, right, and that's astrologically what's happening right now, aligns with the star Sirius, which is called the spiritual sun, okay? So the physical sun, which is our planet, the sun in our solar system, once a year it aligns with the star Sirius, which is considered the spiritual sun. When our sun and Sirius align, and when they come close to Earth, they also line up exactly with Orion's belt, which is a constellation. And our ancestors in Egypt knew about this because there's an alignment between the sun and Sirius and the Orion's belt constellation and the pyramids at Giza. So this has been a very important portal or gateway that even our oldest ancestors were well aware of. I celebrate it. That's exactly right. And you know, for me, the star Sirius is always, for me, it's the star that the wise men followed to find Christ. It is the star of the Christ consciousness, right? So it's, for me, it's the guiding star. It's the star that leads us toward our highest purpose. Sirius, for me, also represents your higher self, the highest evolutionary form of your soul's inner wisdom. And so for me, it's all of those things, this portal. Now, I was born within 24 hours of the peak of the Lionsgate. I was born on August 9th at noon. And so 11:29 to be precise. And so I was born at the height of the Lionsgate window. So I've always felt these energies really powerfully, and I know a lot of you have too. If you're a Leo sun, this is going to be, and not so much Leo rising or Leo moon. This is one of those things that it's really about Leo sun people, which there's quite a few Leos in Soul Shift. And I'm Leo sun, so that this is something that those of us with Leo sun tend to feel a little bit more strongly, but everybody can benefit from the Lionsgate energy, which is why I do ceremony around it every single year. We're doing ceremony on August 8th. It'll be released on August 7th. And the reason I pre-record that one is because we're all in different time zones. And I want to make sure you can actually do the ceremony on the 8th. If I do it live on the 8th, some people are already going to be on the 9th. And the 8th is also a new moon. So the new moon this year, I'm going to be with you live at the peak of the Lionsgate, but your ceremony, the technical ceremony for 8/8 will be recorded. Yep. Yes, so that is what's happening today. So because I'm live with you on the day that this portal is opening, I want to activate this energy with you. I want to walk through the portal with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this tool today, or whatever wand you're working with, which again can be your wand from your toolkit, it can be a wand from this toolkit, it can be from your Llama set, whatever you have. It can be a double terminated quartz point that you have. Maybe you have a little Herkimer diamond that you use, or a wand that you use for activating your grids. Could be something you've gotten from an SGTV in the past, or something like this. Whatever you have, I want you to go and grab that tool. You can also charge other tools today at the opening. So if there's a piece of jewelry that you plan to wear all the way through the Lionsgate from today until August 12th when it closes, that would be something else for you to go and get. Your chakra wand would be beautiful. Your alchemy wand would be perfect for this work. You guys have other ideas? Your soul shift selenite wand would be perfect for this. Anything quartz or selenite will be perfect for opening a portal. And the reason I say selenite too is selenite is great for opening. It's great for opening portals. It's great for opening circles. Nothing negative can get past selenite. And when you're opening a portal, you want a power tool. And quartz is powerful, but so is selenite, and especially for blocking unwanted energies, right? So those are the kind of tools I'd recommend. Any quartz-based tool will work. So that includes amethyst, aventurine, citrine, any of those options will work. I would not recommend something, and you can always use your finger, that's right, Jennifer McGuire is pointing out. When in doubt, or if you're traveling and you don't have tools, always use your finger. Your finger is your original magic wand. I like a quartz-based or selenite-based wand, but I really want you to use your intuition. So if you're like, you know what, Athena, I hear what you're saying, but I've got this fluorite wand and it's just calling out to be used for this work today, that's exactly what I want you to use. I really want you to follow your intuition, right? So Ginny's using petrified wood, which is great, because you know petrified wood is quartz. Petrified wood is a 7.5 on the measure of hardness scale, because over time, everything organic is replaced with quartz. So it actually becomes quartz. In geological terms, petrified wood is considered a quartz-based mineral. It's okay if it's aura treated. This is aura treated. Yeah. So you're totally okay. Yellow aventurine is quartz. It's quartz with mica. All aventurine is, you guys probably know this. I've been talking a lot about aventurine and quartz in my lives. But if you haven't heard those lives, aventurine is a micanized form of quartz, meaning it has mica flakes inside of it, which is why most aventurine is kind of sparkly. So, but all of your aventurines are quartz-based with a mica mineral inclusion. Golden healer is beautiful. Doesn't matter if the point is dull. Doesn't matter at all. And I'm going to tell you something. Use what your intuition is guiding you to. I mean, I'm happy. I love seeing what you're using and validating your choices. But at the end of the day, if your intuition is guiding you to use something or work with something or partner with someone or something, there's a reason for that. And I would never want you to trust my guidance over your intuition. It's really important. So yeah, you can use an obelisk. Sitting up, it's an obelisk. All of a sudden, it's a wand. Right? It's not double terminated, but that's okay. If your intuition is guiding you, I think that's exactly what you should be doing. So follow that. And probably if there's something that your intuition is guiding you toward, you know what I mean, there's probably a reason. That tool is either going to be a partner to you through this next couple of weeks, this portal period, right? So, and you can use more than one thing, charge more than one thing, activate more than one thing. This is kind of, I mean, when we think about what the Lion's Gate is, this is the power portal of the entire year. I think of the Lion's Gate, so let me back up and talk more about why I think this is such an important time, and why I think this year is more important for the Lion's Gate than probably any other one that I have celebrated before. Truly. We are in a 5-year 2021, 2021. 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 equals. A 5-year is a year of change and transformation. It's a year when all of the elements come into balance, and it's usually a year of at least a minor interruption energetically. My intuition, my intuition is that we have some interesting days ahead this year. I'm going to call them interesting because I don't want to give it a charge either way. You know what I mean? I don't want to say, oh, it's going to be hard, because then that gives it a charge. I want to leave the energy of this year to evolve exactly how it's meant to. But I think we have some days ahead this year of that will be very interesting. Let's place it that way. And so I think this Lion's Gate is an important one in particular, because something this year, how do I put this? I usually don't say kind of broad sweeping statements unless I've been in medicine space, and I haven't been in medicine space in the last, 2 years. So it's like I'm hesitating to really make big sweeping evaluations. I think something this year is going to shape the broader trajectory for humankind. I don't know exactly what that will look like, but I think one of the reasons this Lionsgate feels really important is that I think it's preparing us to be able to hold energy and then to be able to act upon energy in a way that supports the collective. Does that make sense? Again, I'm not an alarmist person, and I'm not somebody who, like, I always think things are working toward the highest good. I really believe that. So I tend to be a very optimistic person, but there's a catch in my throat these days, and I have to honor that too. Like, there's something that has me not quite at ease. But again, I don't want to put a charge to that. I don't want to put an energy to that. I simply want to say that I think this is a very important time for us to be doing everything we can to hold and maintain a frequency. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to hedge my bets. I hope it doesn't seem like that. Here's what I don't like. I don't like when spiritual people come out and make these big sweeping assumptions and put a charge to things, and it's like, that doesn't leave room for the universe to do its magic. And I am not all-knowing. I'm not omniscient, right? I have an intuition. I'm extremely uneasy, almost like that feeling you get before you're going to travel, like, you know, like where you're unsettled. That's how I've been feeling for the last couple of months. But I don't want to go and say, oh, I don't think it's going to be good or anything like that. Something's at play. So let's look at it this way, again, in spirit of my eternal desire to stay in a place of optimism. Let's look at it and say, why don't we harness every bit of energy and power we can so that we can be as prepared as we can for the journey ahead. Does that feel good without putting a charge on it? Yeah, let's do our best to just be as prepared as we can. And one of the things I'm realizing too, it's nice to read your comments in the feed, I have to say, because it's kind of, sometimes I feel like I'm in an echo chamber, you know what I mean? And I don't like that. I actually really like it when people disagree with me and push back on me, but I know you guys are A, very smart, very wise, B, very intuitive, and C, very honest. That's, when I think about what I'm grateful for in Soul Shift, it's that I know you guys are really smart, really intuitive, and absolutely no bullshit. And I know if you guys were like, you know what, I love you, Athena, that's some bullshit, like, you would tell me that. So it's kind of nice to hear your perspective and feedback too, because I know that you guys will be candid and you're not an echo chamber. You're not afraid to say, I hear you, but I kind of disagree. You know what I mean? So it's just nice to know we're all kind of in the same place. I still think, and I will repeat this for as long as it bears repeating, that there's value in holding a high vibration, even when nobody else does. There's value in saying, this is happening, but this could also happen. You know, like, this is unfolding, but we could also go here. And if we have enough people who will hold the space for what's possible, I think we can turn the tide. I really do. And take whatever this vibration is that I am feeling and transform it into what its highest possible potential is. So anyway, thank you for being here and for being true and honest, and also for being open and being magical and for being able to help me hold a frequency, because I think we just have to ride this wave, right? In the best possible way we can. And this is where also I'm finding the human part of me sometimes needs to be mentored by the non-human part of me. Like, sometimes I can hear the non-human part of me say, Athena, really? Like, you know how this works, right? Like, come on, Athena, you know? And I can, like, hear that little voice kind of like, or that little hand tapping me on the shoulder, like, come on, honey, you know how this works. So anyway, that little part of me keeps me going too, because it's like, oh, Athena, you know, just because someone says this doesn't mean that, right? So anyway, all to say, I want to step through this portal with you. I want to imagine what's possible. I want to pull in as much divine strength and power today as we can while we have this portal. And it's only from, it's the 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's 18 days, okay? I mean, it's hard to hold a frequency for a lunar cycle, which is 28 days. I'm only asking you to hold it for 18. I can do anything for 18 days, can't you? So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for the next 18 days right now. You decide if you want to do this too. For the next 18 days, I'm going to try to eat living food. And the reason is, I find for me that when I eat a lot of processed food, my energetic system slows down and my intuition gets really dull. I ate a lot of crackers and crunchies and Cheetos and shit food when I was traveling, because sometimes when you're traveling, it's like all you could get, right? So I'm not eating processed food. I'm going to try to eat real whole food and stay hydrated. For the next 18 days, I'm going to constantly stay in a place of transmutation. So any low vibration thought patterns or thought forms that come into my field, I am going to try to shift the energy and return the energy into the field. What the heck is living food? So for example, instead of having cereal in the morning, I'm going to have an avocado, right? So anything in a package that could last 6 months is not living. So I'm going to try to eat fruits, vegetables, lean protein, things that are not prepackaged in a box that could last me until next year. Does that make sense? Now, and again, you don't have to do these things, but it's just kind of what I'm going to do, because I want to keep my energetic field clear, and I want to keep my vibration really high. I'm going to be trying to minimize alcohol. I'm okay using cannabis at a time like this. You have to decide if that works for you. Alcohol for me is really hard on my energy system. It depresses my entire system. And sometimes that feels good, but right now that's not what I'm looking for. I am going to do whole grains, which I think are living foods still, right? But again, if your bread could be in your kitchen for 6 months, it's probably not really doing anything good for you. I may still have this is not a fast, so I probably will still have my diet soda, but I'm going to focus more on tea, herbal tea. So I'm going to go back to, rice is good. I'm going to go back to my, which I haven't done in about 6 weeks, I'm going to go back to my water with my lemon and ginger slices, and I'm going to be throwing, fresh herbs from the garden in there, cilantro, mint, rosemary, whatever tastes good to you. If you don't drink anyway, that's great. Super great. And what else? Yeah, I think of cannabis as a living food. It's not legal where some of you are, so I don't want to say you have to do that, but if it's legal where you are, I think it's a good thing to use, work with, ally with. So I don't know if this is interesting to you, but this is kind of what I'm going to be doing, trying to make healthier choices. I started this last night because I knew the portal was coming today, and I was in the kitchen and I really wanted junk food, and I had some baby carrots instead, you know what I mean? Just making different choices, different trade-offs. It's not so much that I don't get grounded, it's so that my energy field is clear. When you eat a lot of preservatives, which in my opinion are not vibrational, it lowers your energetic vibration. The upside of this is if you eat like this for a little while, you're probably going to feel better, have more energy, sleep better, maybe lose a little weight, so it can't hurt you. I usually, when I'm doing something like this, will make a big pot of soup. I'll go to the farmer's market and just grab everything that's in season. I'm going to go this Sunday to the farmer's market and make a big pot of soup with, cauliflower and broccoli and beans and legumes of all kinds and kale and spinach and celery and garlic and, you know what I mean? Probably put some turkey or some chicken in there. And anyway, so this is just kind of going to be my routine for the next 18 days. Now Alexis and I are going to drink tomorrow, and I just want to be honest with you about that. I don't get to see her very often, and we want to have fun at tomorrow's sales, so I am going to do a shot or two of some really high vibrational whiskey. I saved a good bottle for me and Alexis because she and I both love whiskey. So we are going to do some whiskey tomorrow, Alexis, but other than that, I'm going to try to be really, really good. On the energetic side, on the meditation side, do I feel like my gifts were off or blocked after my vaccine? No. No, I don't. I mean, I know people have fears about the vaccine, but the only reason I don't have fears about it is because I'm a researcher and I know how to read medical journal articles, and I've read everything there is to read about mRNA. So I feel really confident because I have read all the research, but I know not everybody has. It doesn't in any way impact your system appreciably. In fact, a few months after you've taken the vaccine, there's really nothing of it left in your system, very little. So I haven't had any effects like that for me. What has impacted my immune system really, and my energetic system, is the anxiety in the field. That is what has affected me more than anything. So I think the more we can all get to a place where we're not collectively anxious, I think the more we can keep our vibration high. Yeah. And feel free to ask me any questions you want. I'm kind of an open book. And I'm also cool if people have different views, you know what I mean? I'm not a know-it-all about everything, but I'm trying to read your questions while I respond. And I'm very sensitive. If it had an impact on me, I would have noticed it, and I'm very honest. I would tell you if I felt like it had shifted or impacted my energy in any way, and it just did not. What else can I tell you? So I'm also going to really try not to watch TV or participate in media like news. I'm going to be limiting a little bit of my time on social media. You guys won't notice it because I'm not going to limit my time with you guys, but I'm going to limit my time on my personal social media a little bit, pulling back just a touch, because I want to keep my energy field as high vibrational as I can. So food, limiting TV, not taking in things that depress my energy level. What else can I tell you? Is there anything else you have questions about? This is kind of my plan. I want to try to get as much sleep as I can, stay very hydrated, and have as much sex as I can. I'm actually not kidding. I think sex and orgasms are very important for your vibrational field. Physical touch is really important, so lots of hugs if you can with people in your life. I even will sit with my kids and just hold their hand and massage their hands, or they'll massage my hands. We did that on vacation. Like, just to have physical touch is very important. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Well, I have to say, I love Facebook. I really do. I wouldn't have you guys if it wasn't for Facebook. Can I imagine a day where we go off of Facebook, like at Sage Goddess? I can kind of imagine a day. We've actually talked about maybe making it possible to have groups on our website so that we're not dependent on Facebook. But for now, I love it. It's helped me connect with people. It keeps me in touch with my former students. I'm in touch with about 1,800 of my university students on Facebook. I'm watching their families grow up. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff. They were texting me videos yesterday congratulating me on the 10th anniversary. Like, these are my doctoral students with their kids, which is kind of the coolest thing. So, yeah, I'm still going to have coffee in the morning. This is not an ayahuasca dieta. If I was preparing for ayahuasca, there would be no caffeine, no sugar, no sex, no masturbation, no coffee, no garlic, no onion. I mean, like all the things. This is not an ayahuasca dieta. I know, I wish we could do Zoom too. We could do Zoom. We could do a Zoom. I don't think we could survive on Zoom, but can I speak about being mindful about energetic exchanges? Tell me more about what you're thinking, Jessica, and I'm happy to speak to that. I think what's really important, if I'm understanding you correctly, is this interesting to you, by the way? I know this isn't exactly related to our class content, and we'll get there in just a second, but this felt important to talk to you about because we are crossing through this threshold. And I'm not saying you need to do these things, and I'm not saying if you do them, you have to do them forever. I'm just saying until August 12th, it might be nice for you to be more mindful of how you interact both with food and drink, as well as people and energetic sources, right? Just might be good to be mindful. Okay, good. We should do a Zoom. Yeah, so and Michelle, if this is not helpful for you, that's, it'll be over in a second. But I did want to speak to it for just a second. What I think you may have meant by energetic exchange is about how you are in relationship with people right now. And I think that's the other piece of it too. What I'm going to say is this, and again, Jessica, if you have something else in mind, I would love to hear your 2 cents so I can respond in a more accurate way. The energetic exchange piece, and she's talking about what triggers you. This is what I'm going to do, try to, in your interactions with people, try to come from as much of a place of unconditional love as you can. So before you respond to someone, if you're feeling angry or stressed or tense and you're about to send an email or, place a call or whatever, try to ask yourself, again, until the 12th of August, what would my higher self do here? Not the me that's triggered or the me that's afraid or the me that is a people pleaser or the me that, but what would my higher self, the part of me that's been through all of my lifetimes and knows better, what would my higher self have me say here? And then respond from that place. Or better yet, take a minute, you know what I mean? We talk about the sacred pause. Don't respond for a day or don't respond for an hour. Like, take a breath. Draft the email, but don't send it till the next day. I think these are good guides because you could be triggered a lot during this portal. There's going to be a lot of intense energies because that's what, the Lionsgate Stargate is all about, these incredibly powerful solar energies, which is fire, action, direction, strength, right? It's very masculine, this portal. And the feminine, sometimes when the masculine, oh, okay, Michelle. I was like, well, it's okay. I mean, you don't have to like what we're talking about. But anyway, thank you for clarifying. The masculine sometimes can feel like pushy. I don't know if that makes sense. So this portal can feel kind of pushy and like, it can make you anxious. And so stopping, breathing, remembering that that's probably what's happening, taking a breath and a break, asking yourself how the feminine would respond, asking yourself how your higher self would respond. This will help you to move through the portal without, breaking things. The goal is to move through this portal and to absorb as much energy as you can without being a bull in a china shop. And we can feel like a bull in a china shop through this, right? Yeah, and so, and by the way, a little alcohol, if you can do that dance, some of us can, some of us can't. If you have, if you have addiction to alcohol in your lineage, or if you're in recovery, doing that dance of just a little alcohol is very tricky. But for some people, just a little bit can help them navigate this portal. So that's okay if that's what you want to do. Especially if you can manage that, I completely support you. Yeah. Breathing, that's right. Taking a break, asking yourself how the higher self would respond. Asking yourself how the feminine would respond. Okay, this is what my masculine is saying. My masculine is saying, get mad, yell and scream, throw a fit, get it done, work harder, push harder. And so then you have to stop and say, so what would the feminine say? And by the way, this is all the work of alchemy that we're doing this month. This is conjunction. This is conjunction junction, right? To EA's point, it's about being the observer and not the absorber, right? Like, oh, this is interesting. This is what's happening right now. I wonder what this means. I wonder what this is about, versus, putting hard definitions on things or saying, this is exactly what's happening, or this is what I have to do. It's like, what do I want to do? What do I feel into, right? So I'm really glad we took these few minutes to have this conversation, because part of my goal with Soul Shift, in addition to trying to teach you about alchemy and how you can work through the struggles and the traumas and the griefs of life and ride the waves with a little more grace, I'm also trying to make this, and I'm going to even try harder next year to make this a living program, where it's like, okay, so not only is this an interesting thing that we're talking about, but I now know how to port this over into my life and live a better life because of it. And what I have learned, at least for me, is that people model what I do. Because as I'm always encouraging you, don't be the thermometer, be the thermostat. Don't just read the temperature, set the temperature. In my family, I set the temperature, but that's my role. If I'm angry, truly, in the morning, by noontime, I can see my kids acting out. If I am peaceful, by noontime, I can see them in a place of peace. And so I've learned that I'm a thermostat. And so that comes with a heavy responsibility. It doesn't mean I mask my feelings, but it does mean that I'm mindful of them. And I'm mindful of how I carry my feelings around and how and to what extent I express those feelings, right? Because I'm responsible for that. And I think you are probably a thermostat in your life too. And so you have to learn how to manage the internal and manage the external in a good way, because everybody around you is really just responding to your energy all the time. Set the temperature, baby. And the temperature every day in energetically for me has got to be a nice cool 71. Okay? I'm not up here at 78 and I'm not down here at 62. I'm riding a nice 71. That's my favorite summertime thermostat. Every AC unit in my house is set to 71 during the day, right? So anyway, what does 71 look like for you? 71 looks for me like I'm holding my shit. I might get stressed, but I'm not raising my voice, right? I'm aligning, I'm becoming centered, I'm able to process my feelings without projecting my feelings, right? 71, baby. That should be a new hashtag for us. Riding 71. Keep it at 71. You like 67? Just runs cold. I could do 67 at night. You're 78, Sherry? 67, 71. Anyway, I'm glad this is resonating with you. Okay, so I'm gonna ring my bell, which I meant to do I don't know, an hour ago. Yeah, this is what it's all about. And maintaining your temperature in the midst of dramatic change. I'll say one more thing on this note before we move on to more of the Lionsgate stuff. I was sitting this morning on the floor in my bedroom looking out the little door that leads out to my little patio, my little deck in my bedroom. And I was looking out from my window. I could see Nick and Zoe's middle school, where I also went to middle school. And I was looking out at that field. It was a really emotional little 5-minute thing for me today. I was looking out at that field where I went to school at 11 years old. I'm turning 48 in 2 weeks, so that's 37 years. And I thought about what a different world it is today. And I thought about the many stresses I face as a parent during a pandemic, and a business owner during a pandemic, and a public figure during a pandemic, and a wife, and a child of parents who need me and have health problems. And I really looked out at that little field where I used to go and play ball with my friends at 11, and where my kids go and play now without knowing how big and intense this world can be. And I thought, I gave myself a moment there, it's good, right? It's good to recognize how different this world is, how much I'm holding and carrying, and to give myself a second to say, it's okay to feel overwhelmed sometimes, right? A lot is happening and it is overwhelming. And in that same moment, what I realized is, right, I'm not doing this alone, right? A human during the pandemic, right? Forget the other things, right? We're not alone. We're not alone. We have each other. We have our spirit guides. We have people in our lives who need us and love us and sometimes tax us and stress us out, but also bring us a lot of joy. We have our animal companions and guides who, no joke, I think really I couldn't be more grateful to have animals in my life because they keep me grounded and bring a little levity, you know. But it's okay to feel overwhelmed. It's also okay to stop and say, I'm not doing this alone, right? You're not alone. So when you stop and you take that deep breath and you go, this is a lot, and you look like me and you go out that field and you go, God, when I was there playing soccer at 11, I just had no idea what I would have to hold and process as a big grown-up. And it's like, but we're not alone. And you'll never be alone. And there's a part of you that has been through much bigger and weirder than this. Right? Close your eyes for just a second. Just for a second. Some of you in your past lives saw the rise and fall of Egypt. Right? Saw the rise and fall of Greece and Rome. Some of you saw the rise and fall of Mesopotamia. Some of you saw the birth of this nation, the United States, in its nascent form. Some of you saw the rise and fall of Lemuria and Atlantis, the building of islands out of lava and fire. And there's part of you that knows how to navigate everything because of your eternal nature. The fact that you know that it's not really you, the eternal you, that's going through this. It's the physical you, right? That worries and is anxious and sometimes doesn't know what to do. But part of you is connected to other times like this that have been times of destruction and creation, right? So, and probably much more extreme. It's beautiful, right? But we've fought in battles and wars. We've been through much more profound struggles than even this moment. And so there is part of you when you reach down deep that will respond back to you and say, no, you've got this. You have seen so much. You have fought and struggled and risen and fallen to your knees and gotten back up and risen again 100 times. And so you've got this. It almost makes this look easy by comparison, right? So anyway, I share that with you because I went through this whole thing this morning. It was almost like you were there with me. I mean, sitting on the floor this morning, just looking at that field. And all of this went through my mind. So if you're crying, it's because it's there. It's in you too. You know, you are a warrior and a queen and a priestess and a king and a pharaoh and a child and a parent, right? And a partner and a widow and a widower, right? And you have carried your shield into battle and emerged victorious, and you know that feeling, and so you know how to ride this. It's beautiful. And so remember that. That's what will carry you through. And everything I just shared with you is really, in so many ways for me, what this Lion's Gate portal is about. And I'm lucky to be a Leo because I carry this frequency, right? It's like, I know this to be true on a subatomic level, that whatever this is, I can face it, rise above it, and move past it. And I can do that not because I'm special or unique, but because I can tap into that warrior flow. I can create that fire energy. And these 18 days was that this portal is really just about that. It's that Syrian star holding that Christ consciousness, which really is about Christ and not about Christ. It's about the highest possible vibrational frequency you can hold at this time, right? Of unconditional love and acceptance and power and strength and truth, aligning with the sun in our solar system, which is about expansion, light, and illumination. And those two joining forces, it's like there's really nothing that those two can't hold, and they've seen us through every possible evolution of humanity too. Yeah, I think you're right, Saya. I really do. And I think if we could close our eyes for a second and remember, I think we all remember each other. I think when this human journey is over, I think a lot of us will find each other on the other side too. And be like, good job at Soul Shift. What was that thing called we made? Oh yeah, Soul Shift. Remember that? Oh shit. I do remember that. That was fun. Not as fun as this, but it was fun. And I'm so glad we got to see each other again. Remember your hair was purple? I imagine us having those conversations one day, like, woohoo! Yeah, I do. So anyway, let's enjoy this moment now, and knowing that we've been down a couple of roads together before. You and I raised our shields in a battle or two back in the day, I think, and we'll celebrate it again one day, I think, too. Okay. What else did I want to tell you? So let me read from my notes, because this is a lot of stuff. I just want you know me and my notes, but I gotta tell you all the things. This is a solar activation tonight. What's coming through is a very high vibrational, high frequency energy. And so this is about raising your personal frequency. That's why I wanted to talk to you about food and sleep and sex and everything, because every time you have an orgasm, I don't care if you have physical sex with anybody. I mean, if you want to, that's great, and I like to have sex, but if you don't want to or you don't have a partner, what's really important is having an orgasm or two during this period, because when you have an orgasm, that actually opens every single one of your chakras and aligns them instantly in that moment. When you stop breathing, because you can't have an orgasm without stopping your breath. That's why the French call it the little death. So when your conscious breathing stops, the chakras breathe. And it's one of the only opportunities they get to really breathe without you breathing. And so it's very important to have like an orgasm or two in the next 18 days, but that's why I was sharing all of that, because you want to create this really fertile environment for those high vibration frequencies to come through. And it's like, got that, right on top of that, Rose. I have faith in you, Kenneth, you can do it. This period brings upgrades and downloads, so light codes will be coming through. I keep notes during this time in my journal, I really do, of keywords that come through, images that I see in my dreams, conversations that I have in my dreams. All of that goes in this little like lion stargate little part of my journal that I keep for the next 18 days, because you're going to be seeing some different things. You're going to be sensing things. A song may come on. You're listening to Pandora or SoundCloud or Spotify, and a song comes on. You're like, really? I've never heard that song. That's also potentially a download. So my request is, don't overlook anything right now. The license plate in front of you when you're driving, the song that comes on the radio or Spotify, the person that randomly shows up at your door, the dream you have that's so out of character for you because you never remember your dreams and all of a sudden you remember this one, right? All of that's really important. You're also going to activate during this period a new level of conscious awareness. What does that mean? This is this is the most important time of the year in some ways to be in soul shift, because this is a chance for you to kind of fast forward what we call the soul shift, right? It's almost like getting ahead of the game or advancing your piece on the board a little bit. So you're going to get an acceleration of your spiritual development over these next 18 days. You could all of a sudden start looking at something really differently. Maybe you've been in an argument for somebody for months and all of a sudden you don't care about the argument anymore. Or you've been trying to solve this problem for a few years and all of a sudden like you've got the answer. If you've been having wild and vivid dreams every night for as long as you can remember, and what does that mean? It's a gift actually, because you're able to translate your dream time. A lot of us don't remember every dream we have. I remember probably 50%, and they tend to be the more vivid ones. And mine have been weird for the past year, like real weird. So I would say start making notes about your dreams and see if you can find connections between them. The number 8, which is important for the Lion's Gate, and the reason that it's most important and powerful on August 8th, oh, I love that, Kaz. 8 is the number of infinity, right? So August 8th, which is the center of the Lion's Gate portal, it's happening in the month of August. 8 represents infinity when you turn it on its side. 8 in the major arcana of the tarot is the Strength card. So the Strength card is the totem card for this period. Remember, in the major arcana of the tarot, you look at the Rider-Waite card, it's the beautiful woman who's taming the lion. She has her hand on its head, right? You wouldn't put your hand near a lion's mouth if you were afraid. So it's all about taming your deeper fears. It's good at this time to also look at what you're afraid of and see if you can manage some of those fears and overcome them. There's big power during this portal to transmute fear. So if there's something that you're consciously afraid of, you can work with that too. If you're having fear about current events and global events and things like that, this is a great cauldron to put all of that into and allow it to be transmuted. And that's why I said earlier I didn't want to put an energetic charge on our current pandemic, because I want to leave the universe space to create a beautiful outcome. And I actually think if the pandemic can end in a good way, it's been one of the most important paradigm shifting events in my lifetime. Is teaching people they can work remotely and be very productive. It's teaching people that they don't have to live where they've always lived. It's teaching people that they can connect with people in alternative ways. It's teaching us to be more multidimensional and aware of energy. So if we can get through this in a good way, it actually could be one of the greatest gifts to humanity. What else did I want to tell you? So there are 5 questions that I want you to sit with. 5 questions I want you to sit with in tonight's ceremony that we're going to do. Okay? Because what I think this portal is ultimately about is transforming you from a victim into a change agent. A victim sees the world as happening to them. A change agent sees themselves as happening to the world. Let me say that again. This Lionsgate portal is about transforming you from a victim, where shit's happening to you and there's nothing you can do about it, to a change agent, where you actually have a direct impact on the outcome of events and on the outcome of your own life. If you ride this portal well, it will transform you from a victim to a change agent. And that's ultimately where I want to see you. And this is going to impact every part of your life. I mean, a lot of us come and go, you know, oh, this is happening to me, please help me, please hold me, which, you know, is, I'm always happy to do that. But that's not you in a position of power. That's you on your back going, oh, I don't know what's happening. This is all happening to me. A change agent looks and says, this is happening. I want to understand how to shift it. I want to understand how to respond to it. I want to understand what role I can take, what action I can take to determine a different outcome than what I see unfolding, right? And I think that's the goal of you even being here. So I want to see it in you, but I also want you to see it in you. I want you to see in your own life you going, you know what? I've become a change agent. I'm no longer a victim. Things aren't just happening to me. I'm an actor here. And so I can take a step, and here's how I'm going to learn how to do that. How does that work with trusting the universe? It's always a dance of both. You trust the universe, but you also have to trust in your capacity to affect the outcome, right? I see myself as a change agent, but I'm not going around trying to fix everything. I just know that whatever happens to me, I'm in charge of how I respond to it. Does that make sense? So I'm not trying, when I go through my life, like on a daily basis, I'm not trying to, constantly tweak and fix and adjust to suit me. But when something comes to me, I stop and say, okay, what is this trying to teach me? How can I respond to this? What's the highest possible response? How would my higher self respond versus the little girl in me who's super afraid? You know what I mean? So, and I want to choose to let my warrior goddess respond to this, not the 5-year-old in me who thinks that, nothing good is going to happen. I can choose, in other words, I guess, which version of Athena emerges. Is it going to be the goddess of war and strategy? Because she's not afraid. Or is it going to be the 3-year-old who's like, somebody help me? Do you know what I mean? So when things happen, I have to stop and go, which one of me am I going to send out? And a lot of times the little girl wants to run ahead, but I'm learning to let the big girl go first. Do you know what I mean? I'm glad this is resonating with you. So here are the 5 questions I want you to sit with as we go through today's activation. And I'm really happy you guys are here. I'm thankful for your presence, truly. Okay, number one, what is my new frequency? You're going to have a new frequency coming out of this portal. We do every year. There's no way this doesn't affect you. Right? There's no way this portal is not going to affect you. If the ancient Egyptians thought this 18-day period was important, there's something to it, right? If the Mayans believed this was important, which they did, there's something to it. So there's no way it's not affecting you. Number one, what is my new frequency? And number two, what are the codes? And think of a code as keys, right, to unlock doors. What codes do I need to activate to step into this new frequency? Every frequency has its keys and its gifts, right? So what are those gifts? What are those keys? It could be crystals that you need to work with. It could be a new mantra that you need to recite, or maybe work with your mala. It could be, and again, the universe will provide them. All of a sudden you're on YouTube and this video comes up, or you see something on Facebook, or you feel called to go and get a tattoo. I don't know what it is, right? But what is that for you? Number three, what needs to be burned or destroyed in order to make way for this new frequency? This is a fire portal. Fire transforms by burning. I think you know that, right? So what do I need to burn through, burn away, clean out in order to emerge in this new frequency? Number four is, how am I to embody this new frequency? What does this need to look like day to day, in real time? So this could be something to do with your health. It could be lifestyle changes that you need to make. It could be something as simple as posture all the way to a new health routine. It could be how you carry yourself. It could be that you decide to change your appearance, or change your clothing, or change your home environment. It could be that you decide to change how you speak, or how you communicate, or how you express yourself. It could be that you decide to, take dancing classes or public speaking, I don't know, whatever it is. You may find a new way to embody this, and because that's part of your frequency is going to change you, and your body a lot of times will want to adapt to reflect that change. And then number five, which is the most important for Lionsgate, what action or actions do I need to take in order to step forward on my path in alignment with this new frequency? What do you have to do? There's always an action coming out of the Lionsgate portal because it's Leo. Leo is not an air sign. We're not thinking our way through this. Leo is not a water sign. We're not feeling our way through this. Leo is not an earth sign. We're not going to ground our way through this or be patient with this. Leo is all about burning and acting, right? I'm going to clear this out, and I'm going to step forward in courage and strength. Okay, so what's the frequency? Are there keys and codes I need to activate? What do I have to burn or destroy to make space? If you've been in Soulship since January, you've already done number 3 through calcination, right? You've already burned through a lot, so you may have already done that piece. How do I embody this new frequency? Do I need to change? Does something physical in me need to change? How do I step forward in a physical way? And then what action or actions do I need to take in order to embody this? Sound good? Yeah, I feel good because I got through all my notes. The professor and me can settle down now. I get anxious when I haven't gone through my notes. Get ants in my pants. Good, good, good. I'm glad it's making sense to you too. Number 5 is where the rubber hits the road, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to bring us over here because I'm going to make our perfume with you first. This is our ecstasy perfume, and I like the idea that we're working with ecstasy, and we're not working with that ecstasy, but we're working with an ecstasy. And I love the idea that we have Shiva here in the background. Shiva, of course, in the Hindu tradition, is the creator-destroyer god, right? Shiva is the both and. And I love this representation of Shiva. It just sings to my soul. So Shiva is looking out while we craft our perfume today. And so, this is our first time working with our tools together. So if you have your candle, you can go ahead and light that. I'm going to light just a little bit of charcoal. I don't have my good lighter right now, do I? I do have one. Hold on. Hold on. Like, I'm not patient enough to wait for that. Baby's got to burn. And if you have your charcoal or your electric burner, you can work with a little bit of your desire incense. Your incenses all have white sage in them, and the reason for that, we grind up our organic sage into a powder for these incenses. And the reason I like that is it's all you need to clear the space. Isn't that yummy? So just giving a little bit of that to you. Letting it pass through your hands. Okay. And then if you want, you can work with a little bit of your pleasure elixir. It's so good. There's chocolate in there and it's just divine. And then this will be for next week for crafting. So all of that can go and live over there. And so for our perfume making for today, we are working with rose geranium, we're working with ylang ylang, and we're working with pink lotus. You can always tell when I'm perfuming because I take all my jewelry off because I spill oil all over the place. And it's a mess. But you love me anyway, and so we're good. I cannot. I will end up with oil in every one of my rings. These no longer really come off. I don't know if my knuckle got bigger or whatever, but I can't even take these rings off anymore, so these don't count. So somebody's gonna have to solder those off of me one day. So let me walk you through the oils because these are some of my favorites. If you would like, you can do my little trick. If you have an incense stick, I always keep one in my plants. This is manifestation. You have your Lionsgate incense, you can use that too. And just light a little bit of that. It was down in the soil, so it's so resistant to being lit, but let me see if I can get her going. Come on, honey. That's good enough. And then what you do is you take your incense stick and put it down into the bottle and just let the bottle fill with the smoke. It's a great way of cleansing and purifying your bottle before you start. Okay, so I want to teach you about these oils real quick. These are all really powerful. Rose geranium is a cleanser and a purifier. It actually tightens your skin and it removes dead skin cells. It's a natural exfoliant. So this is one of the most powerful and really effective anti-aging oils. This is why it's in my Under Eye Magic because it really does tighten up fine lines and wrinkles. But it does the same thing for your energy field. It really does. It smooths out the rough edges of your energy field. It softens your energy field. And it is also a mild aphrodisiac, just like all of the oils in your kit are. This is the most mild of the three. Pink Lotus is a little bit stronger, and then ylang ylang is like not quite as powerful as Damiana. Damiana is the most powerful of the aphrodisiac oils, but it's also the most expensive of all the aphrodisiacs. Ylang ylang is very sensual. Ylang ylang opens your sacral chakra and your root chakra. It actually is called the oil of the inner child. It heals all of the sacral organs, including the uterus. Ylang ylang does. It cultivates inner joy and trust and openness in relationship. It can deepen intimacy between partners, especially if you've had conflicts of any kind. And it smells beautiful too. I love it. Some people don't like ylang ylang. I'm curious for your reaction. And then Pink Lotus, and this is pure Pink Lotus Absolute. This is not a synthetic. We're really lucky to have an Indonesian distillery that distills the oil of Pink Lotus. We're able to get pink, white, and blue. The pink is the sweetest. It smells like candy. I don't know what you think. The Pink Lotus is considered one of the most important lotuses in Buddhism. It's called the Supreme Lotus. It represents the Buddha. The goddess Lakshmi is also portrayed sitting on a pink lotus. Have you ever seen art of her where she's sitting on it? Each night, the pink lotus returns to the deep parts of the pond in which it grows, and each morning it arises clean out of the mud. And so this symbolizes your spirit's ability to rise from the most difficult parts of your challenge. This is about you coming into full bloom. Isn't it fun? So one of the things I want you to do, my favorite way to perfume, is to blend before I blend. I'll talk more about this on Thursday. Hold one oil up, inhale, and then clear your palate. You can use coffee beans if you want, but I don't use coffee beans. I don't need them. And then bring the ylang ylang to the Pink Lotus and see how you like it. The ylang ylang deepens the Pink Lotus, but you lose a little of the sweetness. Isn't it incredible? Now, take the rose geranium and bring it to the lotus. Now the rose geranium tightens up the Pink Lotus, it sharpens it a little bit. So the ylang is a little more buttery, the rose geranium is a little bit sharper, and the Pink Lotus is sweeter. So here's what I'm going to tell you. For my blend, I'm going to start with the Pink Lotus, and I'm going to put the whole thing in there because it's my favorite of the three. And the reason I'm starting with the Pink Lotus is that I don't want to dilute it. And so if you start with the one you love most, you'll be able to control how diluted it gets. Does that make sense? And I hope you're having fun. If you don't have the tools, it's kind of fun to see everything and learn. So I'm going to add about, I don't know, a third of my ylang. I don't want to make this an ylang ylang perfume. I really want it to be a Pink Lotus perfume. And so that's perfect. It didn't change it too much, but it gave me the energy of the ylang. And that was exactly enough. If I had put any more of the ylang in there, this would become an ylang ylang perfume. And like I said, I don't want that. I want it to be a Pink Lotus forward blend. And so now I'm going to bring my rose geranium to my blend. And again, just a touch. I want this to be a Pink Lotus perfume, but I want the energy of the rose geranium to be there. And again, that's just enough. I probably used 6 to 8 drops of the rose geranium in that. And I like to just churn it 3 times. That gives you a chance to blend all the oils together. And I like to smell it on my skin. Oh, that's real good. And the most important thing to know when you're blending is if you like it here, you'll like it when you add your carrier oil, your jojoba. If you don't like it here, the carrier oil is not going to fix it. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you always blend your EOs first and then add your carrier oil second, because your carrier oil is just diluting it, but it's not going to fix it. If you don't love this, you're not going to love the finished project or the finished product. Do you like it? It's kind of cotton candy, right, Star Girl? Like because that Pink Lotus has like a cotton candy kind of, you know, sweet energy to it. I'm into it. Do you like it? And so now, if ylang ylang was your favorite of the 3, my favorite was the Pink Lotus. If the ylang was your favorite, start with the ylang and then add the others so that you keep what you love without sacrificing the rest. And now what I want you to do, I'm going to put the caps on my bottles because I still have some oils left, and those go into my medicine cabinet. I used all my Pink Lotus. There's still a drop in there, so I'm not wasting a single drop. It's very expensive. Oh, there it was. Look, I got more out. Oh, I'm gonna rub it on my hair and my pants. It's so good. You know it's good when I'm like shaking it to get everything out of there. And then the other cap for my ylang. Okay, now your jojoba oil. What is with me not being able to open the jojoba oil bottles, Alexis? I think I seriously had to use pliers for the last bottle. I guess I'm not diluting mine today. I seriously can't get that open. I don't want to hurt my hand because I don't have good wrists. I had some carpal tunnel, so I'm going to let that be. I'll dilute mine after we're done. And then, again, just turn it 3 more times just to finish blending it. And then the final version. One cool thing to do too, as a trick, if you want, is take a little bit of your blend. Don't put it on the flame, but put it on the wax, especially if you can, right where the wax is pooling. You will add that oil to your candle as it burns, and your candle will work as a diffuser. Because I don't know about you, but I burn these candles down until there's nothing left. I love our Soul Shift candles so much. I have all of them from the year around my house. They're just my favorite candles. So, and then a little bit at your third eye for what you know, at your wrist for what you do. Get your little feeders up there, your ankles for where you go. My feet are dirty, but you don't care. You'll open for me tomorrow. I'm gonna have you go in the garage and help me find some pliers to open my jojoba bottle. Through your hair, on your pants, rub it around, so good. I really do rub it all into my clothes because I don't wash my clothes very often. I don't think it's good for clothes to wash them all the time. I'm such a hippie. I don't wash my hair very often, so it's kind of nice to put all of your oils into your clothes and your hair and rub it on your furniture, rub it on your drums. You know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to take a little bit, just a little, on my finger onto the beater of the drum. That somebody's gonna win. That's kind of nice, huh? Oh, it smells so good. Yeah. So just like, and on the tassel of your mala, you know what I mean? Just bring a little bit of it through and super good. Okay. So now that we've got our perfume taken care of, yeah, super good. And your mala tassel will hold it, especially if it's silk, which most of your, whether it's a Sage Goddess mala or some other kind of mala, they usually have a silk tassel. That'll hold your scent forever. I would love a pink lotus soap too, Bonnie. Hey, Alexis, can you make us a pink lotus soap? I want pink lotus incense sticks. That's what I want. That's what I want. You don't have sound tools? We'll have to hook you up, girl. Okay. How do you know if you need keys or codes? Your spirit guides will tell you. They will tell you. Okay, so, are you ready? You're always ready. So make sure you have some kind of wand or tool or obelisk or generator or something that you can use to open the portal with me, okay? And we already went through the different options, and I do want you to use your intuition, but make sure you have whatever you want to work with now for our journey. The hummers are all outside. They're like, start your journey, honey. Get it going. doing, mama? No, Alexis, I want you to make it. Yeah, I'm just kidding. Oh, spirit guides and guardians. We turn and face you tonight. At the opening of this portal of power. You know, I told Claire today, this is normally something I do by myself. So it's so good to do it with you. Maybe we should join each other every July 26th to open it together. It's so much nicer than doing it by myself. That's right. As we stand at the edge and step forward with courage and bravery and gratitude, we greet you, fire. The light of the two suns connects tonight. The physical sun in our solar system, source of light and illumination, tonight joins forces with the spirit sun, the light of spiritual illumination. It's been guiding us toward truth since the birth of Christ and before. So Guardians of the East, we ask that you open our circle this evening. Show us the way, the pathway, how to step into the open space, possibility. Show us how to think and how to see, creating new pathways, new possibilities. As the sun rises on this portal. And Guardians of the South, Guardians of the fire element. Show us where the transformation begins. Show us how we have to shift and transform to become something lighter, stronger, more adept, more capable, more empowered. Teach us what needs to be cleared away to make way for what's coming. Teach us how not to be afraid, to get excited. It's possible. Guides and Guardians of the West. Water portal. Teach us how to flow, how to experience ease, how not to resist, how to receive. Teach us about forgiveness and permission. Teach us about unconditional love, how to hold and how to be soft for each other, how to have compassion, how to respond gently. guides and guardians of the north, Earth Gateway. Teach us how to ground into our power, how to move through the next 18 days with patience and peace, how to stand in our power, how to not shrink back, play small. Guides and guardians of the upper world, as we walk through this portal, we greet you at the Great Stargates, Syrian Stargate tonight. We call upon our Syrian guides. We draw a direct line from where we are to where you are. Calling upon the guides of the Spirit Sun. We seek your wisdom, your illumination, your guidance. Help us to be like you. Help us to remember the parts of you that are us. Parts of us that are you. To the guides and the guardians of the middle world, this here now moment. Teach us gratitude. Show us how to be present for each other without taking on each other's problems as our own. Teach us how to witness. Teach us how to create peace in times of war and struggle. How to embody strength in times of fear and chaos. Teach us how to be good sisters and good brothers and partners and allies to each other. When it's easier to fight and argue and not have compassion. To the guides and the guardians of the lower realm, this is where the ancestors live, the mineral kingdom, vortex points and ley lines, connecting us to Gaia, our great planet, the Pachamama, countries and continents, oceans, rivers, past, present, future, on Earth. Teach us how to learn the lessons, activate the wisdom, to be good keepers of that wisdom, good stewards of this land. How do we learn what the highest good is for this moment, for this place? Whisper it to us in a voice we can hear. We welcome east and south, west and north. Welcome the upper realm, middle realm, lower realm, to be here with us now. And together we say, Amen. Aho. So it is. It's my favorite drum too. It really is, because it was gifted from Soul Shift last year. At the end of such a hard year, I look at it and I'm always in such incredible gratitude for it. Teach us how, Mama. We, your children, are trying to learn and do a good job. But we need to be taught. We always need to be taught. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so now that our circle is open, let's choose our tool and let's activate that tool together. I like to activate at the Lion's Gate through the element. So, fire. Just gently letting the tip of that crystal dance in the fire. fire meet fire. So we draw up the fire from the flame, activating this tool for the purposes of guiding us through this Lion's Gate, opening the portal way together tonight. I give thanks for the wisdom this tool will transmit from above and below. And on behalf of the collective, I ask that our tools be activated this evening to serve us through this Lion's Gate period and beyond, in service of the highest good. And together we say, Amen, Aho, and so it is. Amen, Aho, and so it is. Nice, isn't it? Oh yeah. You can, any tool that resonates with you is exactly what you're supposed to be using. If your spirit guides are like, go get that necklace, that's exactly what you need to be using. And always trust it. There'll be a reason later. You know, in the fullness of time, you can look back and go, that's why I was supposed to use that. Oh, I love that you have the constellation tattooed. Isn't that beautiful? That's okay. It's okay if your tips got black. It's fire, baby. Probably a little bit of rubbing alcohol will get that right off, but don't go crazy. Let it be. You know what I mean? I always say don't Martha Stewart things. Like let things be a little dirty and a little crusty sometimes. Okay. Are you ready? So I'm going to open a circle, just as we do every other time with this tool first, and bring it down. I would like you to do the same thing with your tool. So whether it's an amulet or a pendant, you know, or a ring or whatever it is, take it around behind you clockwise, right? We always open a circle clockwise. On the 12th, we'll do a quick ceremony just to close the circle. I'll probably do a video that I put into your Facebook group just to remind you to, because what you open, you must close. These are the laws of magic, right? What you begin, you must complete. So we'll do that, especially since we're opening it together. I'll make a point to remind you to also close it too. Yeah, your orange calcite flame from Crystal Masters would be a great tool to use for tonight, wouldn't it? I like that too. Okay. So I'm going to take my wand skyward. I'll keep it here so you can see, but you might want to extend your arm all the way skyward to do this. And so going clockwise, I'm going to do 8 rotations. And every time I rotate my wand clockwise, I'm going to reflect on the 5 questions that I asked you. So let me remind you again. The questions are, what is the frequency that you are going to activate through this portal? What are the codes or keys, right, that you need to activate? What needs to be burned away or destroyed for you to activate this energy? How are you going to embody this? And then what actions are you going to take? You can use either a hand. I always, if you've been with me for a long time, you've always seen that I open and close circles with my right hand, which is my dominant hand. It's also my projecting hand. So if you feel called to do it with your left hand, again, I think your intuition is the best and most accurate way to go, Ms. James. Great question, though. So 8 circles to open the portal, 8 circles to close on the 12th. Are you ready? Let's do this, baby. And so, first rotation. And just hold the space. What's my frequency? What are the codes? What needs to be released? How will I embody it? What actions will I take? Second rotation. I've got the feminine end skyward, which is the wider end. You can do it the other way if you want. I love you too. Second rotation. What's my frequency? What are keys and codes I need? What needs to be burned away or released? How will I embody this? What actions do I need to take? Third rotation. And you might start to get answers now, so pay attention what's coming through. Okay, I'm already getting I have to release fear. I have to. It can't be an ally to me during these 18 days. And if you get that you need to release something again, you're not releasing it forever. You're kind of agreeing to release it for 18 days. You can do this. We can do anything for 18 days. We're strong. I have faith in you. So I'm not going to release fear for the rest of my life, but I'm going to release it for 18 days. So when fear comes up, I'm going to transmute it. Right? Rotation 4. Strength is one of my keys. So I need to activate a strength code. Rotation 5. Just keep listening, keep paying attention. Rotation 6. Rotation 7. And I'm literally imagining connecting the sun and Sirius like that there's one of those planets / stars on either end of my wand. And when you do that, you can really feel the energy. You can change it to your receiving hand if you want to sense what that's like and call that duality, that balance. And if you think about it, it's also feminine, masculine. It's everything that we're doing in alchemy this month, right? Because Sirius is very feminine. The sun is very masculine to me. So this is also about balancing masculine and feminine. So put that in your other hand for a second, and see if you can feel it and receive that into you. Receive the energy of the portal into your physical body if you want to try that. It's a very different experience than holding it in my other hand for me. So I'm curious if you're having that same experience too. We did rotation 6, so this is rotation 7. Rotation 8. I love it, Judith's releasing shame. Right, I see you, Sam. And Bonnie, I want to see the codes that come through you tonight. Is your hand throbbing? It's yummy, isn't it? Do the exercise if you can of changing hands and notice the polarity. You really feel something different. At least I do when the wand's in my right hand and I'm projecting the energy. I don't feel as much of it in my body. I feel it more outside of me. When I move the wand to my left hand, I feel more of the energy in my body and less externally. So this could be an interesting exercise for you during the month, because I want you to come back to this tool again and again and again. Whatever you're choosing, this is your new best friend for the next 18 days. So every day I want you working with it. Every day I want you connecting with it. And see if you notice the difference. It's interesting, right? Be the sun. Oh, I love that. You're letting go of jealousy. It's beautiful. Dominant hand feels it more. Yeah, interesting, Penelope. So it'll be different for each of you, how you, and it could be that it's not just stronger, but different, right? If you're feeling more of the masculine, feminine, if you're feeling more of the polarity, that could be interesting too. Okay, so with the 8th rotation, we have opened that portal of that connection between Sirius and the sun. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the wand between my hands up above my head, so starting at the crown. And we're just going to bring it through the energy field, through all of the chakras. So I'm starting at my crown. And again, just sensing the energy of the sun in our solar system with the spirit sun of Sirius. And imagining that light, which you know, I'm visualizing as being held at the polarities. So that I've got Sirius up here at the feminine end, and I've got the sun here at the masculine end. And just a deep inhale and exhale. Make contact between the termination of your crystal and your crown, right there. And then we're going to bring it to the third eye and make contact there. And just a nice deep breath. That feels good. I'm feeling like I want to also hold it this way. Let your tool tell you how it wants to be worked with at the chakras. I feel better this way. That's activating some fun visions in my third eye. It's like I could see a little tiny sun in my third eye when I placed it this way. And now to the throat. Oh, nice. Jennifer's got the wand in the left hand, flame in the right hand. That must be pretty powerful. I can imagine that. It felt good at the third eye, didn't it, Penelope? And again, you know, try it all the different ways. If you're working with a generator, maybe put the flat end first and then put the terminated end. If you've got your flame, again, try the flat end first and then the rounded end. If you're working with a ring, you know, try holding the band towards you and then the stone towards you. Just play with whatever you've chosen, because obviously it was exactly what you're supposed to be working with. And see if holding it one way or another feels different or better to you. Are you getting good messages? I'm getting messages. I'm also just getting this sense of like gratitude on the universe's behalf that we did this together today. It just feels really intended. It really, really does. Feels good, doesn't it? And now let's come to the heart. This feels like it wants to be termination. Activating the power of your heart. Right, opening your heart, loving with your whole heart, expanding into your heart space, diving into the ocean of your heart like we were talking about last night, going all the way in, really feeling the activation there. A nice deep breath. I'm trying to lead you, but like I'm dropping in. I could just fly away right now. Solar plexus, so find your belly button. My belly button's right there. 2 finger widths above is the exact position of your solar plexus. So let's go right there. It's always so important for me. This particular chakra is where I have issues. It's gotten better, but it's my work. Just feeling yourself being supported in your power, your strength, your worthiness, your confidence, your competence. And then I'd like to see you lay this on the sacral, right between the ovaries and testes, right? So that's kind of nice to put that right there, because what it does is almost activates the duality of your ovaries and testes. If you're laying down, it's a little bit easier, but you can, even if you're not, you can just hold it there. And you can experiment with the termination too. Moving from one ovary to the other. If you have your ovaries, even if you don't, you still have spiritual ovaries. Stop doubting yourself. Isn't that pretty? That's beautiful, Kelsey. Stop doubting yourself. It's just so easy. Spirit makes it seem so easy, right? Just stop doubting yourself, Kelsey. And it's like, oh yeah, why am I doubting myself? I shouldn't do that. Now you're going to do your root chakra however you want to do it, and I'm not trying to gross you out, but I'm going to straight up go in there. So that's going right between my legs. Sitting right in the good spot. Because I really want to ground into this portal. Your perineum is your root, right? So get it where it needs to be, baby. You do what you want to do with terminations, man. It's a free country. I'm just guiding you here. I don't know what to tell you. Keep everything external, though, is my best wisdom for you. Oh, God. Whoop, whoop. Come on out there, baby girl. You can visit, you can't live there. Okay, so we went from root to sacral to solar to heart. Pop, lock, and drop it. I love you, Sam. Oh, to throat, to third eye. And let's bring it right back to the crown. It is your wand. Magicians will do what magicians will do. Don't fight the feeling. Oh, goodness. Who says magic isn't fun? It's totally fun. Again, I could just sit here for an hour just like this and not say a word. I'm just in a good place. I hope you're feeling it too. It's good, nice, big energy flow. Angelica's husband is like, what the fuck? But you know, this might pay off for him later, so you never know. Have an open mind. Okay, and then I'm going to close the circle, but I'm not closing the portal, okay? I don't like to leave circles open. I am leaving the portal to the Lion's Gate open until the 12th. Now, if you decide at some point you want to close the portal to the Lion's Gate for any reason, too much energy coming through or whatever, all you do is take your wand and you go counterclockwise 8 times. And that will wind you out of the portal and seal the connection, okay? I'm not going to do that until the 12th. I've ridden this wave before. I really like it. I find I get a lot of juice out of this period. But if you decide you don't like it, you don't have to do this, right? This is optional. But I am going to close the circle, so counterclockwise and down. Just because that was really just an activation of the chakras. You don't want to leave your chakras open and spinning like that so openly all the time, because then it can be overwhelming energetically. It's harder to sleep, harder to focus, harder to concentrate. So I don't like to leave that part open. So what I want to do, and you're welcome to drum with me, I'm going to close it on the 12th, and I will be closing it for you. So even if you forget, it's not to worry. I just wanted you to know how to do it. Like, let's say if you wanted to close it tonight, and you were like, oh God, now I don't know how to close this thing. Now you do. But I will close it for you on the 12th. So even if you're not on Facebook, not in the group, missed class, whatever, I'm going to close and do 8 cycles on our collective behalf. So I'm glad you asked that, Annette, because sometimes people forget, and that's why I'm here, because I don't forget. So that's my job. Yeah. I love it. Jeanette said her wand was cold, but then she put it down there and it got hot. That's right, baby. You ready? So we welcome in energies of fire. We give thanks for access to these energies for this period. We stand in our strength, we stand in our power, we stand in our sovereignty. We release all low vibrational emotions, fear, anger, resentment, jealousy, hatred, resentment. And when those feelings, when those energies come to us, we notice them and we commit to transmutation. We commit to transforming through the principle of polarity those low vibrational emotions into their highest, purest vibrational form. We call upon you, our spirit guides, ancestors, ascended masters, and spirit teachers, to teach us how to do that, show us the way. We commit to this work, but we ask for your help, we ask for your support, your presence. I personally am giving my spirit guides permission to contact me during dream time. You can choose to do the same or not, it's up to you. Spirit guides, I open my dream time space for wisdom, for downloads, for coding and recoding of my DNA. I give you permission. I give you permission, my cells open to receive deep and regenerative healing. I give permission for spirit guides, the healing guides, to remove any stress, illness, disease from the cells in my body. Again, transmuting any energies in my physical body to their highest, purest vibrational form. And again, I open every cell in my body to receive this healing during this portal and this time. I open my third eye and my crown to receive faith, visions, prophecies, future narratives and timelines. I open my root chakra to ground into the planet, to receive wisdom and medicine from my ancestors, from the crystal and mineral kingdom, through the ley lines and vortex points of the planet. I open my heart to deeper levels of love and connection and intimacy without fear. I allow myself to know and be known, to love and be loved, without fear or hesitation. I surrender to my soul's higher purpose. I am open to wisdom and guidance for how to live more fully into that purpose. Linda, you should be more worried I'm going to go sit on that. Oh, Lord. I give permission to my spirit guides to keep me laughing, not to take this all too seriously, to see the humor and the levity and the joy in it all. Right? Keep laughing, keep smiling, keep singing. Let it be easy. And I welcome ease and flow. Allowing what comes to come, allowing what goes to go. Being grateful for the comings and the goings. And we give thanks. The Lion's Gate portal is open. We thank all the benevolent beings and all the higher dimensions for your presence and protection during this time. And together we say, Amen. Aho. And so it is. The naughty Leo in me is like, What would it feel like to sit on that? You know, it's kind of pokey. Linda's looking out for me. Now, the last thing I want to do, if you have any tools that are going to be, like I said, I'm building a Lionsgate grid on the map that I gave you, and I'm going to finish that grid today, tomorrow, and activate it. If you have anything that you're holding right now for that grid, just use your hands or your breath to bless that tool or whatever it is, so that it's activated on the day of the opening. And then you'll do the same thing on the day of the closing of it to deactivate. It's super simple, but just okay. And now we officially close the circle and release our guides and guardians. Thank you, Annette. Always looking out. See, sometimes you give me naughty ideas. But that's why we have so much fun together. So I want to thank and release the guides and the guardians for being with us, attending us in our ceremony this evening, releasing the guides and guardians of the lower world, the guardians of the mineral kingdom, the bone kingdom, ley lines, vortex points across the planet, the guardians of the central fire of our planet. We release you with gratitude. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the middle world, this here now moment, our guides and guardians, spirit guides of this planet, the spirit guides of this container. We thank you and release you. Thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the upper realm. Thank you for keeping us connected to angelic wisdom, astral wisdom, Akashic wisdom, keeping us connected to the Syrian dimension and Stargate, to our Syrian ancestors, and our lineages. We release you with gratitude. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the north for keeping us safe and protected and held during our ceremony space. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the west for healing and renewal, unconditional love, and ease. Thanking and releasing the guides and the guardians of the south for power and transformation, courage, and strength. And thanking and releasing the guides and guardians of the east for clarity, for clear vision, clear expression, for helping us think about our lives and our power and our strength in new ways, for downloading new keys and codes to enter this new cycle and release you with gratitude. And with that, session 3 of Soul Shift is complete. And the music changed just like that. It's amazing how this DJs our classes sometimes. I don't want to go. I just want to stay. This was so nice. Don't you feel relaxed? I hope you do. Like, I feel like I could just lay down and take a nap right now. But I really like being in your company. It was really cool to do this with you, like I said. This is something I would have done tonight on my own. And if you're a solitary practitioner, it gets lonely sometimes, you know? I much prefer to do magic with my people. So I'm really glad you were here. And it's kind of neat because last time, session 3, we did the secret fire. Do you remember? And so I feel like tonight, it's interesting, it piggybacked on our work last month. It ties into the work of conjunction, and then it ties into the actual timeline of the Lionsgate opening. So I feel like there was this really cool synergy tonight. But it feels, it's interesting, right? Because you're relaxed, but I also could run a mile right now. Like, I could literally put on my tennis shoes and run around the block. So it's a weird thing. Like, I'm very relaxed, but I also like have a little bit of pep in my step. So thank you for being here tonight. I really appreciate it. Dave doesn't do ceremony with me. Um, you know, I kind of honor Dave and who he is. He's not a practitioner. He has deep respect for me, and he loves to see me do my thing, but it's not his thing, so it's not authentic to him, if that makes sense. The kids, I'm sure, will do ceremony with me. They haven't really asked yet. And my philosophy with my kids, like Zoe collects crystals and she's super into it, and she actually knows about 50 stones at this point. I'm really proud of her. Like, she can ID most of what's on my stone tray by sight, which is pretty impressive. But she hasn't asked yet, and my philosophy with my kids is when they ask, I'm going to be so happy to include them. But I don't like to pull people into things. That's kind of my life philosophy. Like, I don't even really like to recruit for my programs. You know what I mean? I figure if you're meant to find this and be here, you'll find it and be here. And if you're not, you won't. But I don't like to force the river. So I'm waiting for them one day to go, can I join you for that? And I'll be like, of course you can. So anyway, thank you for asking. I leave everything open, but I don't try to convince anybody to do anything. I figure if it's right for them, they'll find the way. I was going to post that invocation I was talking about during the full moon. Oh, I did. It's actually on my personal Facebook page today. It's the Muji prayer. So Janisa, and it's public on my personal Facebook page. So if you go to Athena Parakis, my profile, it's actually my post from earlier today. And it's the first 1 minute and about 45 seconds of his video. If you have 20 minutes, watch the whole thing. I think it's a magnificent video. But if you don't have 20 minutes, just watch I watch the first 2 minutes every morning without fail. I sit down on my computer, I open my computer, and I have it saved as a bookmark. And I close my eyes, and I just listen to him recite that prayer every morning. So, yeah, you'll join me anytime. I love that. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, well, you're so welcome. All right, you guys, cheers. Have a beautiful evening. Like I said, pace yourself. Tomorrow, Alexis and I will be with you from 3 to 6 p.m. Pacific time on YouTube for our Soul Shift and Crystal Masters version of SGTV. We do that at your request. This is the anniversary edition. We have the hand-painted Kuan Yins, but I only have 50 of them. And there's a lot of other really special things too. I've got the phenakite wand and some amazing things. So you'll want to be there. Wednesday, we have session 4 of class. Thursday is Perfume Around the World. So if you haven't registered for that yet, you have 25% off as a Soul Shift member. Remember that this drum, and I'm going to take a picture and have Alexis post it in our Facebook group tonight. I'm going to give this drum away on Friday. It's a big gift. I can't remember. I either paid $400 or $500 for it, with the intention of giving it to someone in Soul Shift. So if you shop it at sagegoddess.com between now and Thursday at midnight, you're entered to win this. And it started this morning, so if you already shopped today, you're good. The code is Harvest20. No, 20 Harvest. Then the last thing I want to tell you, yeah, if you didn't come to the gem sale last night, we had a wand and it was misidentified. It has phenakite on it. So we said last night we were going to hold it for tomorrow. I'll show it to you tomorrow. No, do you, I'll post a picture. I don't know if I have the actual, you'll see it tomorrow. It's the Kuan Yin from my cabinet over here. It's wood and it's all hand painted in Bali. I don't know if you've seen it. If you were with me for my crystal room tour, you probably saw that. So anyway, I've got giveaways and charity tomorrow and all the other things. The one stone you may want to consider that's kind of connected to the energy of tonight, if you missed my live today, is Ancestralite, while we have it. Ancestralite, if you missed my presentation for today, we don't have it very often. Judy Hall is the first person who ever talked about this. And I get it from my friend who introduced Judy Hall to it. Ancestralite actually predates zircon on the planet. Ancestralite actually formed in the core of the earth, which is why it's connected for me to our work we did tonight. It's a pseudomorph of magnetite. So I call it the original manifestation stone. And this particular stone is an oxygenated form of hematite that actually helped to provide basically the breath of life to our planet for the first 200 to 300 million years before life formed on the planet. If you haven't read about ancestralite, it's absolutely fascinating. We give some of the highlights and details in the listing, but I don't have it very often. So if you want to enter to win the drum, you may want to grab a piece of ancestralite. It's super pretty too. So that would kind of be my recommendation. So you can see the specular hematite in it, and you can see a little bit of the red. Some pieces have more of the red jasper than others, like this one has more of the red jasper in it. Isn't that pretty? And then the black is the pseudomorph of the magnetite. Isn't that cool? I'm a big Judy Hall fan, so I first learned about it from her, and then I found out who brought it to her, and I reached out to him, and now I get it from him, and so we've like kind of closed this circle now. Yeah. And the sale starts at, what time is it, Alexis, tomorrow? I should know this. I just work here. The sale tomorrow is 3 p.m., 3 to 6, our usual time. Yeah. Which crystal? Or the ancestralite? I would put that on a grid. If you're doing, I'm going to put some on 2 pieces on my Lionsgate grid. I would also put it on an Elder Council grid if you have one, Ancestral grid if you have one, or a Manifestation grid if you have one. Those are the places I think Ancestralite would be really good to use. Okay, so good luck, happy shopping. Alexis, I'm going to send you a picture in just a second of the drum if you wouldn't mind posting that in Soul Shift. I would really appreciate it. And then she and I will be live with you starting at 3 tomorrow. We're going to have whiskey because, you know, we like whiskey. But bring your tea or your kombucha or your champagne or whatever you like. And yeah, that's 5 Central, 6 Eastern, 11 UK time. So that's the breakdown of all of it. And we can't wait to be with you. We can't wait to be together. We've only been together once, twice. Is it twice that I've seen you in person? So this will be my 3rd time seeing you since March of 2020. But the last time I got to spend a few hours with her here. That was really, really nice. So we're looking forward to being together again tomorrow.